What's up, guys? You already know what it is. This is Showtime's Fight Farms, where we are unfiltered, uncut, and we're raw, and we talk all things fight. Now, this has been a crazy weekend. I know I say this every weekend, but this weekend genuinely was ridiculous. We had an upset in the boxing world, and then we had some weird issues that happened in UFC 274. Today is going to be strictly MMA talk because I feel like both programs really need to be broken up into two different shows because there's just too much to talk about. And this is going to be a 30-minute wrap if I talk about both of them together. So let's first start this off with Friday. All right, so if you don't know, I record my episodes way before Friday because obviously I have stuff to do and my producer got stuff to do. We ain't got time to be able to do things right the day before. Now, we had no idea, of course, that Charles Oliveira was going to miss weight. Simple and plain, he's never missed weight at 155 before. He's missed weight a few times at 145, hence why he bumped back up. And it was completely unexpected. A lot of people then started to swing their votes towards to Justin Gaethje because they thought he had a really bad weight cut. I was so confused by it that I didn't think he really had that bad of a weight cut. I'm not sitting here saying that he doesn't struggle to get to 155, he might, but I just never got the vibe that 155 is too much or he's gonna cut too much. It really was weird to me. So when he came out and said that it was an issue with the scale that he had before and the night before, I genuinely did believe it because we've never seen him struggle with 155 before. Then some people say he got the hour and he still wasn't able to cut. I mean, for people who've cut weight before, no, it's difficult when you're at that last pound and you have to recut and you've already drained yourself with water and now you got to try to sweat again and you only got an hour. It's not that easy, actually. The last pound is actually the toughest pound. But yeah, so that kind of threw me off and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna look how he actually looks in the weigh-ins, and then when he walks up, and they do the face-off. He looked fine. And that also kind of told me that maybe it really wasn't that bad of a weight cut because he didn't look drained. He didn't look sucked out like how Conor did at 145 and how other fighters, Anthony Johnson, how he looked at 170. He didn't give me those kind of vibes. So I was like, all right, well, this is a fair game. So if it's fair game, I'm still rolling with my prediction of Charles Oliveira submitting him. And, I'm going to get into, obviously, the situation, the actual fight in a second. However, I do want to also possibly do an idea of maybe what we should do going forward. I don't agree that Charles should have got stripped that night. I'm a wrestler. I'm a wrestling purist. And we compete the day of. We literally weigh in, and then an hour later we compete. I mean, I even know some MMA organizations that honestly they weigh in and they fight that same day. Now, I don't think that's healthy, and I don't think it's smart. I don't think that should be done per se. However, I don't like the idea of forcing these guys to make weight at noon, and your fight is the next day. And Charles didn't fight until 12:30, so he technically didn't fight till Sunday. Why are we forcing these guys to make weight at noon? Or 3 o'clock, or whatever the time that they were forced to at this particular time. I don't agree with that. I think that you should have a start time, like the day before, which is on a Friday. And then I think the end time should be much later than a 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Yes, I understand you got to do your face-offs. You got to do your things. I understand that. However, most importantly is making sure the fight is still accurate and making sure these guys make weight. At the end of the day, it doesn't benefit Charles Oliveira to get more time to cut weight. It doesn't benefit him at all. He has to make weight. He has a half a pound. There's no way you're gonna tell me that if you didn't give him 3 more hours, he wasn't gonna cut that half pound. He was gonna get it done eventually. Like, I don't think it was that bad of a weight cut where he was gonna die or he was gonna have to get sent to the hospital or hit a Habib and, just pull out because he said he was sick. So I think that giving him more time, let him have the day to actually make weight so we can get this title fight that we fully need. Yes, you can say Justin still had an opportunity to win, but still, it needed to be a full title shot. We need to get the defense for Charles Oliveira. And yes, that's looking out for Charles, but at the same time, it's not. Because it's saying, no, you have to make this weight. We already saw 30 minutes or an hour after, Justin Gaethje was back to 165. Charles was still cutting. That is a disadvantage for the champion. So I don't see the issue or the problem with giving these guys more time to make weight when they're still going to fight at midnight the next day. Like, it irks me. So I do genuinely think that we need to start implementing that more so than forcing these guys to make weight at 3 o'clock. So yeah, it sucks that he got stripped. I don't agree that he got stripped, not for half a pound. I understand you're a professional, you need to make weight. I get it. I'm not sitting here saying, but championships do get special circumstances, simple and plain. And I do believe that giving a championship fighter more time to make their weight makes it better for everybody. It makes it, honestly, it does. So, I mean, this is a fan-made sport. This is for the fans. And yes, you need some type of integrity, but at the same time, you kind of lose that. You look at giving some fighters a pass, like Alaquinta, yes, it was a one-day no, blah, 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 but you still gave him a pass. And he still was able to win the belt, even though he was over 155. Or, I mean, let's also think about Khabib and how he possibly really didn't make weight, or DC, and he possibly really didn't make weight. So I just think that giving these guys a chance to defend their belt is very key. So it is what it is. Now let's talk about the card as a whole. I will say the card itself wasn't that great to watch, especially the main card. I'm saying prelims was cool. The main card, I mean, I wouldn't say any fight was terrible except for, the fight that we're going to eventually talk about that everybody knows. That's a very forgettable fight. But the other fights, I mean, weren't nothing special outside of, the Tony and Michael Chandler fight. But OSP Shogun, that was a fight that I honestly expected to be a little bit of a bore fest. No one cares about it. It's not an important fight. Doesn't mean anything. And, OSP won. Hoorah. What I will say, though, Randy Brown looked amazing versus Chaos Williams. That was actually a very good showing from him. And he used his range, got clipped a few times, but he was able to really piece up Chaos pretty good, and honestly hurt him a few times as well. So, I mean, we'll see if he's gonna end up catching to a rhythm, but the guy has super, super long arms, really decent combinations, has a pretty good jab. We'll see. I mean, at that division, with the arms that he got, I mean, he should be able to pick up a lot of wins. So we'll see what's next for him. That was a really good win. But now let's talk about the fights that are in the rankings, which is the Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson. I thought Tony Ferguson was going to win, and honestly, I was really close to being right, and I was really about to start wrapping y'all up. I was going to brag so much, and y'all was going to be annoyed by me because everybody was sleeping on Tony, and I was of the belief that, yes, he's not the same Tony. I never once thought he's the same Tony from 5 years ago. However, I still thought that he's a very capable, still a top 10 lightweight in the world, and I thought that Michael Chandler is a very hittable person, and Tony Ferguson has a pretty good stand-up, and Michael Chandler likes to stand up, so I didn't think he was going to try to wrestle him, which he ended up doing because stand-up wasn't going in his favor. I had no idea that none of y'all had any idea that the fight was going to end the way it ended. Nobody knew. A front kick to the face that sleeps him completely. And some people saying that was the best front kick. Chill out. It's still Silva. Silva did the Vitor bar none. And even honestly, if it's not even number 2. What Lyoto Machida did to Randy Couture, like, bro, that was also some Karate Kid stuff. So, like, let's chill. It was definitely devastating. And I mean, the benefit I will get that he completely slept him. Like, it was done. Like, rap. He didn't even have to touch him afterwards. What the hell? I couldn't believe that happened. Wow, Michael Chandler. You made me eat my words. You won. Good for you. Tony Ferguson, at the end of the day, we already know that, you had your battle with mental health, which honestly could be a result of, like, a lot of the fights that you've had. You're on a really bad losing streak. You're 38. It's pretty much a wrap for your career, obviously, as far as, trying to get a championship. That's just out the question now. Now it's more so, are you trying to make money or are you really trying to compete? Because if you're really trying to compete, you're better off either retiring or going to another organization because it's past you. Now, if you want to make money, obviously, stay there. Try to call out Conor. Maybe go 170. Maybe look for a Nate Diaz fight. Look for fights that actually will get you some good money. But, yeah, like I said, competing, it's over, bro. Michael Chandler, it was a great call out, and I agree completely. Conor McGregor is the fight to make. Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor is an amazing fight, and the UFC will benefit from it. Why? It's a very winnable fight for Conor. Conor can definitely knock out Michael Chandler. And anybody who wants to sit here and hate on Conor, you're fooling yourself. He can 1000% shut this man lights out. Michael Chandler gets hurt pretty easily. All his fights, except for Dan Hooker in the UFC, he has gotten hurt badly. If you don't think Conor can do that, you're just a hater. Conor can hurt him very bad. So then Michael Chandler, realistically, he can hurt Conor. To me, it's a better version of Chad Mendes. He can do everything Chad Mendes does. However, I still think, even though they both punch hard, I will say Michael Chandler punches harder. It's a great fight to make. The build-up is probably going to be annoying and a little corny, but it's still going to be a good fight regardless because they're both entertaining. Neither one are in boring fights. Do it. Now, the co-main event. Well, I was wrong. Carlo won. That whole me saying Rose is number 2 pound for pound, that's clearly inaccurate. And, you know, she looked terrible. To be fair, Carla also looked bad. It was a terrible fight. It's a forgettable fight. And I mean, I'm not too surprised that it played out that way. At the end of the day, Rose knew she couldn't fight too close in. She had to stay on the outside. At the end of the day, Carla really couldn't close the distance that well. So that really didn't give Rose an opportunity to counter strike. So it was just more so just two women, just looping around each other doing nothing and a possible takedown here or there, then a little pot shot, and that's it. Boring fight, who cares? Like, let's move on from it. Carla, fight the winner of Joanna versus Weili. Rose, I mean, realistically, like, the world is your oyster. Maybe fight Marina. Maybe get a trilogy with Jessica Andrade. But, I mean, will say as well, Rose isn't too far from a title shot. So I would say one big win, she should get right back into the title picture. And I don't know. That's just a bad matchup for her. It clearly is a bad matchup. In the fight, there was no winner. We lost, they lost, everybody lost. The only person that really won is Carla. Everybody else took an L that day. Last night. Now, let's talk about the main event. All right. I'm sorry, it's going a little over, but like that's why I had to split these up. Charles Oliveira. I mean, come on, man. I've already told you guys I'm a big Charles fan. To see this man start off the way he did, which was hot and fire, and everybody knew he was going to be a champion one day. We was like, he is going to be a champion. And then when he got submitted by Jim Miller, we were like, oh my God, what the heck? He might be a bust. And then this man ended up going, 7-7? 500, losing to pretty much all the big names, getting knocked out by freaking Cub Swanson, getting submitted by Anthony Pettis, losing to Frankie Edgar. Anytime, in all these fights, except for the Cub Swanson, he actually showed bright spots, but he would give up. And we just was like, all right, this is the type of guy he is. He's reached his ceiling. He's a fun fighter. It's just not championship material. He's not there mentally. To go on this win streak and to finish everybody except Ferguson. I mean, that's legendary. It's unbelievable. Legitimately, it's mind-boggling. I don't understand how we're seeing this. Like, no one 5 years ago would have said Charles Oliveira would be by far the best lightweight in the world and finishing all these fools, dusting them. Can't believe it. And I'm so happy to see it because he's a good dude. He's very talented. And it's amazing to see what hard work, determination, and a little mind switch can flip your career. How it can flip your career. Great example. Mental game is the most important things in all sports and honestly all of life. And he's a prime example of that. He had all the talent. Just mentally, he would give up on himself. Now he doesn't give up on himself. He gets hurt all the time. He don't care. He gets more confident. He's more dangerous. And we also have to think, like, realistically, he's probably the best finisher to ever grace MMA. I mean, I can only think of maybe Anderson Silva. We can come up with more names possibly. I mean, but who do you know that is a better finisher? If you're hurt, the fight's over. It's over. If you're hurt, if he hurts you, you're getting choked out. You're getting knocked out. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. Out of all, he has the most wins in UFC. Well, not the most wins. He has the most finishes in the UFC. And this man's only 31. He's only had 2 decision wins his entire freaking career in the UFC, and he's had over 20 fights. And mind you, one of them was versus Tony Ferguson. Realistically, if there was 10 more seconds on that armbar, that fight would have been over too. So it's ridiculous. Amazing fighter, amazing confidence. That was an amazing fight. He hurt him from the get-go. The way he was able to check those leg kicks were amazing. Take Gaethje completely out of his game, and then he gave him a piece after throwing those leg kicks. I mean, the countering was good. Yes, he got dropped twice. One of them I honestly think was a little fake. I think he was hurt, but I think he just wanted to lure him into the guard and it didn't work. But it's the same old stories, man. Same last 3 fights, all the same. All in with Charles Oliveira getting his hand raised. And I don't give a damn about that 0.5. He is the champion in the UFC at lightweight. He is the best lightweight in the world. There's nothing that a 0.5 can do about that. All right, Justin Gaethje, you got to go to the drawing board. At the end of the day, call out Conor, call out some of these Beneil Dariush. I mean, I feel like your championship run is kind of over now. Got kind of swept twice now. It's not looking good for you when it comes to that, but you still got a lot more exciting fights. You got Nate Diaz, you got Beneil Dariush, still got Conor. There's still a bunch of names out there for you. But that night was Charles Oliveira's night, and that was his coming out party, and everybody has to put some respect on this dude's name. Once Drake put 500,000 on Justin, I knew the fight was over and I knew I was right. Because that man is terrible. But let me know what y'all think as well, though. Like, Charles Oliveira, what's next? Pretty simple, Islam Makhachev. That's the fight that needs to be made. I don't think you need to fight in freaking Abu Dhabi. No, fight in Brazil. We need this guy to fight in Brazil. This man keeps going to enemy territory, keep going to America and fighting. And it's, no, go home. Defend your belt at home. Even though he don't really have a belt, but it's his belt. But I'm just hyped for him. Happy for the dude. But as always, man, tell me what y'all think. This is Showtime's Fight Forum. Make sure y'all stay blessed.